In this video, I will show you how to set up WireGuard, which is open source VPN application. To do this, I set up Linux machine as a server and Windows machine as a client. Then install WireGuard application on each machine. Then set up the peer-to-peer connection. Then at the end of the video, all the traffic from the client machine is going through the server to the internet. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so let's set up the server side. So we are going to install the Ubuntu machine, then install the WireGuard. In terms of the server, I use the Linode cloud service. So any cloud service is okay. So in this case, I select the Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. And then region, any region is okay, but this time I select the Germany. And then in terms of the shape, the 2 GB memory is more than enough for the VPN machine. Then set a very strong password. In my case, I use the SSH key. Then create the machine. It takes 2-3 minutes to create the server, but in this video, I play at the first speed. Okay, so now it's the running status. So let's copy the IP address, which is public IP address of the machine. So I update the IP address in this diagram, right? So, and then let's log in from SSH connection. So command line the sudo and the SSH, and in my case I use the SSH key, and then username is the root, and the IP address is the one we just got. Then login. This is first time, just type yes, and then you should be able to log in like this. Okay. First things first, update and upgrade this OS. Right, hit enter. It takes maybe the 2-3 minutes up to the specification of the server, but it won't take long. Yeah, nearly done. Okay, so if we got, just follow the instruction if we got this kind of the prompt, right? So now it's update and upgrade has been done. Okay, so next step is install WireGuard to the server. To do this, type the command, which is sudo apt install WireGuard. It's quite straightforward command. Then hit enter. Okay. All right. Just follow the instruction. That's all right. Then the WireGuard installation has been done. Okay, so let's go into the installation folder, which is etc WireGuard, and then check what is in it. So actually it's empty. So let's create the private key and public key using this command. All right, so once done, hit the enter. So let's check from LSL. Then you can see that this mask 077 is applied. Only user owner can read and write. And then let's check the contents of the private key and public key. You should not share with anyone, but this is a demonstration purpose. I show you all of the key. Then copy this information to paste into the other application to make it handy. We are going to use this key in the installation later. Okay, so don't share this information with everyone, especially the public private key. Okay. Now we are going to create a configuration file. So just any editor is okay. I use the BI, and the file name is wg0.conf. And then paste this value. All we need to change at this moment is the private key. So private key which we just generated in the previous step, and then copy this value, right? And then delete this this value right here, and then paste into this. So at the end, you should this data should be like this. It's up to, it will depend on your private key, right? So, and the IP address is WireGuard is applied to in this machine when we establish a VPN connection. Any IP address is okay. And the port number also, you can select any port number, but we selected the default for that WireGuard. And then config file true. So just put this value in there. So at this moment, just save and close the file for now. Next step. Now we are going to check the default Ethernet connection. Let's type this command. Then we know this Ethernet connection is ETH0, right? Then open the configuration file, which is wg0.conf. Right, this is the one. Then end of the file, paste this text. And then this value is all about ETH0, but if you use a different Ethernet connection, change this value. So this file is all done. The first one is when the WireGuard startup, this section is applied, and when the WireGuard is done, and then disable all the settings. So this is the meaning of this configuration file. All right, so go to the sysctl conf. So one more thing we need to change. So we are going to uncomment this section, which is IPv4, the forwarding. And then save this file, and then we are good to go. Yeah, actually before we go, we need to apply this change. To do this, sudo sysctl, and then -p is the one to reload the sysctl. So you can see that this change was applied. All right, so it's good. Now we are going to set up the firewall. At this moment, no firewall available. It's not really secure. So just check the status. Yes, you can see that inactive. So no firewall at this moment. This is not really good. So let's allow the SSH connection, which we actually connected to. So we need to keep the SSH open. And another one is allow this WireGuard port 51820. So, and then make sure this is a UDP connection, not a TCP. So UDP, we need to specify like that. Okay. This is wrong, so I put the backslash. So just remove the backslash and hit enter. Here you go. So that's good. So now we allow the SSH and then this WireGuard port. So let's enable the Ubuntu firewall. The command is this, and then just type yes to make sure, yes, we are going to enable the firewall. Okay, so let's at the end check the status of the firewall. Now we can see the 22 port is for SSH, and then the WireGuard port is open, which is IPv4 and IPv6. That's good. Now we are going to enable the WireGuard service. So when we run this command, so next time you restart the machine, the WireGuard service is automatically start up. Okay. So and then we actually going to start the service. So which is systemctl start and wg quick and then wg0. This is a configuration file name. Then we are going to check the status of the service. So this one is a wg0. Now we know the WireGuard service is active. It's up and running now. So server side is all good now. Now we are going to set up the client machine. In this case, I use the Windows 10. Let's install the WireGuard. But before we install, let's check the public IP address. which is this IP address from the Sydney, Australia at this moment. So this IP address will be changed to the Germany at the end of the video. So let's install the WireGuard. To do this, I'll open up the WireGuard download page. Let's type download WireGuard. You can search the pages like this. Okay. So in my case, Windows. So click the download Windows installer. Once you finish downloading, open up the installer. Then just install it. The installation step is quite simple. Just click yes without changing any option. Okay, so now installation has been done. Let's create a configuration file. Then add empty tunnel. Then you can see this window. The public key and private key has been already generated like this. So type the name of the tunnel. So in that case, I type test. So any name should be okay. Then paste the value. Okay, so let me just fix up this layout. Okay, first of all, you can see the IP address. So this IP address, any IP address is okay, but we decided to 172.16.0.100, right? So now it's set up the DNS. So DNS should be from the server. So go back to the server and then type resolve CTL and DNS and plus Ethernet name, which is ETH0, right? Then hit enter. This is the DNS server for the Linux machine. So copy this value. First, I just update the diagram. So, okay, so this is the DNS server. So let's update in the configuration file here. So just replace the DNS of the server part and then paste the value here. So you can see the red text. So because it's now DNS address should be separated by comma like this. So that's all good. So next step is IP address of servers. So you can see that this part and then this part and also the other three parts you need to replace IP address of the server. So server IP address, just get from this diagram. And then update this section. Just replace the value here. And then this is the second part. And then lastly, the endpoint, this part. Right, so that's good. The other part is public key of the server. So this one we generate at the beginning of the demonstration. So just grab this public key and then replace this value here. Okay, so rest of the setting, it should be keep it as a default, just save it. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is register the client machine. Let's type command WG. So now you can see the public key of the server and then port number of the server. So that's the only information at this moment. So we are going to register the client information. So WG command and set, and then file name WG0. Then PR is the client name. Then all we need is a public key from the client machine. So this is the value. Let's copy this and then paste into the section. Here, right? So now you can check the public key was applied here. The last option is allowed IPs. Then we specify the IP address of the client machine, which is 172.160.100. Right? Let's type in here. Okay, so then hit enter. Then we are going to type wg command one more time. So this time we can see the server information, right? But also we can see the peers client information. This is a public key from the client, so you can check like this, right? So now server knows the public key of the client, also IP address. Now it's ready to connect the VPN. So all you need to do is click activate button. Now you can see the data, the sending and receiving data is there, right? Seems to be it's connected, right? So let's check from the command line. I'm going to check the IP address of this machine. So you can see the 172.16.0.100 at the top, right? So once the VPN is established, this IP address is assigned. So also we are going to check the public IP address of this machine. Now you can see this public IP address has been changed to the Germany. So now all the traffic from the client machine is going through the server and then using the public IP of this server machine. So this is a basic configuration of the WireGuard.